Yeah, man, that's the first thing I wanted to ask you is when are you planning the next trip to Thailand? I want to see you, Billy Q, your twin brother, maybe bring Steve Lee as well. Let's make a big trip, man.
Someday, man, someday. Hopefully next year. We'll see.
All right, all right. Now,
Yeah.
another thing I saw is that you were hanging out with the Karate Kid. Like, who does that?
Oh,
What? How did that
it,
happen?
it was so cool, bro. We went to the Mets game Wednesday night. I'm actually watching the Mets now, and they hooked me up with like a field pass, and I was out on the field, and I met the owner, Steve Cohen's wife, Alex Cohen, and I was talking to her, and she was super cool. And then they invited us up to the owner's suite, like the Cohen suite. And as soon as I walk right in, I see the Karate Kid, Daniel's son, and I was like, "Yo, what's up?" And I just finished Cobra Kai too, so it was like perfect timing.
It is, man. It would have been perfect if like Mr. Miyagi walked in like
Oh my
afterwards.
god.
So how was it like just speaking with him and just I guess reminiscing about Karate Kid because when you were a kid you probably watched it a few times.
Oh yeah, man. He was super cool, man. He's a Long Island guy too, and he's a lifelong Mets fan. So we just connected right off the bat, and I was telling him like whenever he wants to come get some training, come over to Longo's. I'll get him right, and told him to get me in season 6.
For sure. Yeah, if of course, man, you gotta take advantage of that situation, right? Be like, yo, like, get me in there. I'm Long Island. We got the connection.
Yeah, we got to take care of each other.
Exactly. 10 months, man, between fights. It's a pretty long period. How have you taken advantage of that time, like inside and outside the gym?
Dude, I've been staying training, man. We've had all these contender series fighters. We had Dennis Bazooka, we had Charlie Campbell, we had Nazim Sudikov, and I was training with them, sparring with them, helping them out with their whole fight camps. And these are young killers, man, young killers, and they keep me on my toes. They give me all I can handle, and just me, helping them out, training with them, just keeps me sharp, keeps me on point. So it was awesome.
Yeah, when I see someone that's not in camp, that's not getting ready for a fight, but they're training with guys that are getting ready for fights, you actually get to test things out that you probably wouldn't try to test out in a actual training camp, right? Did you do that a lot?
Yeah, definitely. I was always whoever I was sparring with, whether it's Charlie or Nas or Bazooka. I would know their opponent, and then I would kind of try to give them a look. And again, it wasn't really no pressure on me. When you're sparring in your own camp, you're in there like dialed in. You're like, all right, we gotta, execute what I want to do. But sparring outside of camp, it's fun. I'm just going out there helping my buddy, trying to give him the best look, best push I could give him. And these guys are ready. And as you can see, Nazim's in the UFC now, and he's gonna go in there and make waves right away.
UFC 281, man, you're rebooked against Ottman, back to back undefeated fighters. What do you see him as a fighter?
Dude, I've already done an entire fight camp preparing for him. So, I know what he's about. He's 13-0. He's got bunch of knockouts. He comes in swinging, but he's wild and he's untested. You know, I'm definitely the toughest fighter he's ever fought, and he's definitely not the toughest fighter I fought. So but he's good. Everybody's good. I respect his talent. I respect what he brings, to the cage. But I'm prepared for it, and I'm prepared to really test him, and see what he's about.
The the bag of potatoes, the PD allegations. Is there anything to that, or do you just look past it and be like, man, it is what it is? I'm not even thinking about that though.
I definitely know that he was on the sauce. He got caught with that bag. They kind of brushed it under the rug. They cut him, and then USADA ended up testing him like 30 times. They tested him more than they tested John Jones last year. So I think they caught him. They brushed it under the rug. They tested the shit out of him to make sure he was off it, and now they're letting him back. So I know that he's got that in his head that he's all. This is probably his first fight clean, and he's gonna look like a different fighter, but I'm ready for the best Ottman, but I know that this is his first fair fight, and it's gonna show.
That could have a huge psychological effect on him. You know what I mean? Like a lot of doubt can creep in without that extra alleged help. You know?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm hoping he's prepared. I'm hoping he shows up ready on weight, and because that's what I'm gonna do. I'm a professional. I always make weight. I always show up ready. And at this level, all we can hope for is a worthy opponent, a worthy martial artist standing across from us, ready to put it all on the line and fight hard. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Do you think in this time and period, the martial artist aspect is getting lost?
Yeah, I definitely think so. It's we are entertainers, but we're martial artists. Most of us are martial artists at heart, and that just shows like what you were saying before. I was training all year without a fight, and there's guys that only train when they have a fight. That's not a martial artist. Like how GSP used to say it. I train for myself. I don't train for a fight. And if I'm not training, I don't feel right. Something's missing. I'm like I'm a little edgy. I'm weird if I'm not training. So I'm a martial artist at heart, and I train for my balance.
You keep training, which means you keep the weight off, right? And you're I saw another interview you were talking about I was jacked and tan all summer. Like, how does that feel? That feels great, right?
Oh, it feels so good, man. I was hoping to get a fight this summer, but it didn't work out. But again, I was in the gym, I was working out, I was working hard, I was getting better, I was helping my team, and I was fucking jacked and tan all summer, and it was a great time. So I felt great, and I still feel great, and we're just about 8 weeks out now, so starting to turn it up a little bit, and I can't wait, man.
Yeah, that should be one of your shirts you make in the future. Jacked and tan, New York summer.
Uh, Jacked and tan, strong.
Exactly. Blowing up after a fight. A lot of fighters, you see them, afterwards, like, Patty Pimlet's been out there, everybody's criticizing him. Has that ever bitten you in the ass in the past?
Yeah, it definitely has, and I'm not gonna go out there and be a hypocrite and say that I never have. You know, life, life, and everything is about balance. We work so hard, we eat so perfect. We do everything right. So after a fight, you got to indulge a little. So after a fight, I try to take like a week. It usually turns into 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks. I eat a little bit, and then we got to get back to it. I just try not to let it get too out of hand, and it has before, and I wouldn't say it ever like came and like bit me in the ass, but it definitely like it does if I got a teammate who's got a fight coming up, and then I'm just like a fat piece of shit who can't make it through like one round of sparring, and I feel like an asshole. Um, so and I think it comes with maturity too. When I was younger, I definitely used to indulge a lot more. But now, I'm in the prime of my life. I think physically and mentally, and I'm putting it all together, and yeah, I'm gonna show it.
You entered your last fight without a new contract. That was the last fight on your contract. From the outside looking in, I would feel like this is a huge burden on a fighter's shoulders. How was the weight of uncertainty looking back at it now?
Looking back at that camp, I knew it was do or die for me in the UFC. I knew that I had to win that fight to stay in the UFC. Um, but I didn't let it affect me. I didn't let it affect my camp. Um, every next fight is the biggest fight. So in the end of the day, I just kept training, kept preparing, and kept working my ass off because that's the only way I know how to do it.
How long was the period before you actually re-signed? You put pen to paper.
Well, right after my last fight, they offered me a new deal. I didn't think it was a fair deal, so we told them that thought we deserved more money, a better deal for my body of work. For this is going to be my 8th UFC fight, and if you count the Contender Series too, it'll be more. And they kind of just ghosted us for a while, and and then they didn't give me the Patty fight, and then they didn't give me the Long Island fight. That was they didn't give me that Long Island fight. I was very upset about that, and then I had to look into new management after that because I didn't understand. After one of the best performances of my career, I go out there and have an awesome first round finish, really exciting fight. I didn't understand how I wasn't getting what I deserve, or wasn't getting the big fights, or wasn't getting the fights in my hometown. Like, so we got new management, and now I'm with KO Reps. Shout out to Oren, and he's really been a great guy, great manager, and he's helping me out with sponsors, and he got me this Madison Square Garden fight. The deal is still not what I deserve, in my opinion, uh, but we got the MSG fight, and I got to just go out there and do what I do, and then eventually I'll get what I deserve.
Yeah, for sure, man. Man, that's a roller coaster of a year so far.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's been, but again,
Yeah.
it's been great.
Yeah,
We've been training, been living life, and I got no complaints.
for sure. And before the last fight, you had back-to-back setbacks, and and the way that you got the win after the back-to-back setbacks. What does that do to you overall? Like your overall outlook on your career?
That the last fight was huge, especially coming off the Terrence fight. I always tell all these young fighters, it's it's how you come back from setbacks, which really defines who you are as a person, and as a fighter, and as a martial artist. And being able to come back from my worst performance and to have my best performance kind of just showed them all that your losses don't define you, and it's you just put in the work, and you come back, and you trust the process, and you believe in yourself and your ability, and you go out there and you put it on display for the world.
There's a lot of time, like you said, 8 weeks until fight night. So, what phase are you in your training camp right now?
We're just starting to turn it up now. Like, I'm gonna be getting my hard sparring in this week. I'm gonna start doing my puke drills next week. And But like I said, man, we've been training. I was sparring all those guys for their fights. So we're ahead of schedule. This is the best shape I've ever been in, this far out, and I'm feeling great. And now I've got this opponent who I've already done a whole fight camp for, and I know what he wants to do. He's gone out there and pretty much done the same thing. And I love the matchup. I love the matchup. Another undefeated guy. Fighting undefeated guys really fires me up. Uh, and especially this guy. This guy needs to be humbled. And who's better to humble him than me?
Like you said, you've been training, but then there's the whole aspect of overtraining. I know a lot of fighters overtrain. I've been in camps, I've watched training camps, I've seen it. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's a good thing, and sometimes it's a bad thing. Like for yourself, is there somebody that kind of pulls you back, or are you good at like kind of calming yourself down and not training too much?
Yeah, there's definitely guys. I got my strength and conditioning guys that always try to pull me back. Acceleration sports training. My man Steve, he's always pulling me back, and but they really keep me healthy over there. We lift all the time, and lifting really keeps me healthy. It keeps everything strong, and then they stretch me out, they wrap me up with ice. They always they stay on me over there to keep me healthy. And overtraining is definitely a big problem, but that just comes with experience. I've been doing this for a while now. I have I have about like 3 notebooks of 10 years of training. I've got every single one of my fight camps in these notebooks, and I'll go back and look where I was at last fight camp. What was my weight? What was I doing 8 weeks out from my last fight camp? You know, when did I start my hard sparring? And I've been doing that for years. And I always tell these young guys to track everything, because you're gonna be going back and looking at it and seeing how you felt for that fight, and every fight camp you improve, but you always look back and make sure you're on schedule.
Yeah, I was talking to Gilbert Burns about that as well, man. Gilbert Burns does the exact same thing. He notes everything down like by hand in notebooks, not on his phone or anything like that. So it definitely will benefit you to progress. MSG, man, how big is that? Just MSG.
It's unreal, man. And this card is so good
Yeah.
too. And Madison Square Garden, it doesn't get bigger than that. Just walking around, being anywhere in Long Island, everybody now asking me about my fight, and I'm like, yeah, I'm fighting at MSG, and then their eyes light up, and they look at me like I'm a big deal now.
Yeah, you get that energy too, man, because everybody's like positive, like MSG, shit, like that's like once in a
Yeah,
lifetime opportunity.
it's huge, and this is my second time fighting at MSG, and time, my first time I fought Lando Venata for my second UFC fight, and that was coming off of my first loss of my career, my first loss ever. I was undefeated amateur, got to the UFC at 6-0, and then I get to the UFC and I get knocked out of my first fight, and then they give me my next fight at MSG against Lando Venata, a guy who I've been watching for years, and I was again a huge underdog. Everyone thought he was going to go out there and smoke me, but I went out there and had one of the best fights of my life out there. It might have not technically been a win; it was a draw, but it was a win at heart, man, because it was such a great fight, exciting fight, and again, I got to go out there and show my team, show the world, how you come back from a setback. You don't let the losses define you, and you believe in yourself and you come back. And I did it last time at MSG, and that was almost like 4 years ago now, and it's gonna be crazy going back there now because I think I've made a little bit more of a name for myself now, and it's gonna be really cool going back.
Yeah, man. Last time, yeah, you've done it before. You're gonna do it again, man. Because look at the wins that you have. Jalen Turner. Look at what Jalen Turner is doing right now, and
Yeah,
you got that.
man.
Luis Pena was a big prospect at that time. You took him out. So how do you expect to dismantle your guy at 281?
You know, a finish. I want to finish this guy. He's untested, like I said before. Obviously he wants to come out there and bang, which I can do, but I've got a lot more weapons than this guy, and I plan on using all of them. And whether we take him down, slam him on his head, and get a quick sub, that'd be nice. But maybe we take him down, tire him out, beat him up a little bit, let him up, and then knock him out. That'd be nice too. But again, something I love about mixed martial arts is using all these different martial arts. I go through phases like throughout my martial arts journey. Like I started as a wrestler, and then I fell in love with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and then I fell in love with Muay Thai, and then I fell in love with boxing. But what really comes like the most natural to me and what I love the most is putting them all together in the cage. And that's what I plan on going out there and doing, is showing like a well balanced mixed martial artist approach to a nice devastating finish.
Well, anyway, November 12th, UFC 281, MSG. The steamroller is back. Thank you so much, Matt, for the time.
Yeah, bro, thank you. And I loved watching you, working with Hickman and out there in Bang Tao Muay Thai
Yeah.
in Phuket, and I'm definitely hoping to get out there soon.
I'm hoping to see you out there, man. If you go out there, I'm definitely gonna get on a plane and and check it out and get some work in, man. That's what at the end of the day, that's what I want to do, is I want to like get some work in with the fighters.